Okay, people. So, oh man, just back from a screening of Poor Things. And, today there was a bit of a clash, right? It was a choice between Chicken Run sequel or Poor Things. I chose Poor Things. And I'm pretty confident that I wouldn't have come out Chicken Run feeling the same way as I do coming out of Poor Things. You know what I mean? It's the new film from Yorgos Lanthimos, right? Who he directs. It's written by Tony McNamara. The film is then produced by Ed Guinea, Yorgos Lanthimos, Andrew Lowe, and Emma Stone. It is executive produced by Ollie Madden and Daniel Batsuk. It's co-produced by Idiku Kemeni, Cassie Malpan, and David Minkowski, and line produced by Monica Nagy. Jerskin Fendrix handles the music, Robbie Ryan cinematography, Yorgos Mavropasadis edits the piece, Dixie Chasey was on casting duties, Shona Heath and James Price production design, art direction. We've got Renato Kish, Jute Kask, Jonathan Holding, Bence Calamar, Giza Curti, Zufia Kofi, James Lewis, Adam A. Makin, and Peter Vardy. Set decoration, we got Zazuria Melhalik and Naomi Rosa. Costume design, Holly Waddington. And our incredible cast. Well, Emma Stone is Bella Baxter. William Dafoe is Dr. Goodwin Baxter. Godwin's maid is Mrs. Pym, who's played by Vicky Pepperdine. Right, Max Candles is played by Rami Youssef. We've got Duncan Wendelbaum is Mark Ruffalo. Kitty is played by Kate Handford. Gerald is played by Owen Good. The Duchess is played by Vivian Soon. Steward is played by Tom Staunton. Martha von Kutzvuk is played by Hannah Sidgula. Harry Astley is played by Gerard Carmichael. Felicity, played by Margaret Qualley. Sweeney is played by Catherine Hunter. Chappelle is played by Patrick D. Valette. Toniette is played by Susie Bemba. Mersault is played by Boris Gilot. Georges is played by Yorgos Stephanokakis. Right, Crabman is played by Laurent Borel. Oh dear. Hooks for Hand guy is played by Gabor Patti. Alfie Blessington is played by Christopher Abbott. Right, Alfie's butler David is played by John Locke. His maid is played by Keely Forsyth, and his doctor is played by David Bromley. Yeah, that is that's the main lot of people. There's a load, just like loads of people on the boats and the students. So there's a load of people floating around. But the gist of the story is where are we? Where are we? Okay, so we have the fantastical evolution of Bella Baxter, a young woman brought back to life by the brilliant and unorthodox scientist Dr. Goodwin Baxter. Under Baxter's protection, Bella is eager to learn, hungry for the worldliness she is lacking. Bella runs off with Duncan Wenderbaum, a slick and debauched lawyer, on a whirlwind adventure across the continents. Free from the prejudices of her times, Bella grows steadfast in her purpose to stand for equality and liberation. So, yes, that basically is the gist of this story, and it is fascinating. It's fascinating. It's actually, people, based on a book of the same name from Alasdair Gray that came out in 1992. Yes, indeed. Now, we start off with a woman on a bridge, right? And it's in this kind of weird fluorescent color, right? Then we have like Godwin doing this operation, and we're all in black and white, right? You've got this woman on the counter, and he's all things on her head, right? He's changed the brains and all of this. But when you're looking at it, she's pretty, very attractive. And Godwin has got scars all over his face. Essentially, he looks a bit like Frankenstein's monster, right? So you have Frankenstein's monster creating a monster, but this monster is attractive, right? It's that juxtaposition of things. And I think, right, looking at this film, you could be like, oh, it's a kind of Victorian era thing, right? But it's not, right? When you think about it, because you're bringing people back to life, you know what I mean? You're doing all of these weird, kooky experiments. So it has its fingerprints in sci-fi and fantasy, right? And one of the really just great things that Yorgos has done is move from within the confines of what we understand certain things to be. So, like the architecture of a house and a room, completely have these crazy interiors and structures, right? When they're on the boat, like at first you just see them standing on the boat, but when we pan out and see the boat, it does not look like a boat that we know. You know what I mean? They just done these fantastical things with stuff, which is incredible. It's great. There's a lot of times, especially with certain sci-fi, it's like people are so used with an object being what it is that even when they're setting something millions of years in the future, that item is still the same, right? A cup is always a cup, they don't change them. So there's certain items that are always like phones have always kind of been pretty much phones in sci-fi until there's a few people that have done a few different little things, but you understand? So when you have someone that has taken that leap and done some things different, you're like, okay, yes, let's do this, man. let's run with this. It's fascinating. But it's just there's so many things about this film that is just like, whoa, what? This is crazy. It's the language, right? And the way everyone's, projecting. It's a bit, it's a bit out there, but it works so well. Right? It works so well. Like the whole language pattern, it's different to how we normally would talk. So it's very fascinating. But it especially works well with Bella because she's learning to talk. So her speech patterns and the way she kind of frames the words, right? You just think, yeah, if someone did not know how to talk and you're teaching them, that's how you would imagine it, right? And especially she's essentially a kid. So you think, yeah, that makes sense, right? And just the things that we see, you're like, okay, yes, of course. Now, Yorgos has, again, with as I said, he does different things with interiors and stuff like that, but also the different lenses that he's using here, right? We got some like fisheye lenses. I don't really know the name of all the different kind of lenses, man, but we just have these really interesting, crazy shots. All right, when we start off and we're following, I think we're following Godwin through the corridors, and we're very low, so the camera is kind of at ankle level looking up, you know, which is not what people usually do, but it really works. We have these weird kind of open shots, but everything's kind of curving. I forget what that one is called, but it's these different things. There's this bit where we see this bridge, but it's not just a normal, the bridge is even more elongated. Yes, there we go. It's bizarre, but it's in the nature of what we're watching, right? This crazy film and all these weird things going on. It's a perfect shot, and that's the thing. When Bella goes out into the world later in the film, we then jump to color. But again, it's not your normal color, right? Yorgos has done this interesting color palette. So it's this weird kind of, it reminded me of when you see those old black and white films and they're like, oh, we've restored it and made it into color, right? They did it. I remember they did it with the old Lauren Hardy films. And so they're now in color, but it's this weird kind of watercolor, translucent, just it's that interesting, weird kind of effect. And that's the kind of visual that we have with this, and so it's, oh man, it's so interesting, right? Just these visuals are so interesting, and that is oh my gosh, excuse me, people. And that is, before we get to the story and everything, right? Just the visual palette, right? The cinematography, just all of that, just invoke this really out there kind of vibe, which is perfect for this. It's perfect for this, right? We've got this character Bella, who is going on this journey of exploration, learning how to talk, learning how to interact with people. That's everything that she's about here. So when we see, like, she discovers masturbation, and it's hilarious, right? It's hilarious. And when you think, again, she's the equivalent of a little kid. So if you think, how would a 5-year-old be if they learn, oh, if I touch myself there, it's good, right? Now, 5-year-olds obviously are not sexual, which is good, right? So you don't have that with them. But in the context of this film, right? So obviously she wants to share it with people and tell people, and everyone's just like, it's not what we do in polite society, huh? What's going on? And so it's this character learning and discovering, right? There's a lot of nudity in this film, but right now it's funny because there's certain films and you just think, why was that scene there? That makes no sense whatsoever. But when you think about what this film is, it makes sense. It does make sense, right? It doesn't feel um exploitationalist, you know. There's also, you've got male nudity as well, so it's an equality of nudity. You know what I mean? But it makes sense for what the story is. And also Bella's perception of it, right? She's not looking at any of this as being perverse or shameful. It's just like, no, I like this feeling, I'm gonna do this, or I need money, so I'm gonna do this, right? It's the way she has, grasped onto these things, which, because the film is this exploration of who we are, right? Because you have the people that, you know, want to protect someone, but in trying to protect them, you are imprisoning them, right? You have people that only want to own someone, right? Want to own someone, want to, hold them at your own beck and call, right? You have love. Like, what is love? Yeah. Is it like sexual desire? Is it you really care for someone? Is it you just want someone and you don't want them to be with anyone else? You know what I mean? Like, what is love? So we see it from all of these different kind of avenues here. So we're just exploring this, like the use of language, right? What is impolite society? Right? What should we be ashamed of? Just all of these things are looked at in this really, it is very interesting if you think about it, like prostitution, self gratification, like same gender exploration. Just all of these things are broached. And so, coming from this character, Bella, who has no understanding of what the world is, you get to address things in a way that's, yes, why do we say that this is this? Or why should that be shameful? Why do we hide from this? Right? Which is great. Like, they are questions that should be asked on so many different things, right? And we all get it wrapped up in this just incredibly engrossing and intriguing film. You know what I mean? It's, oh man, it was just so frigging good, people. It really was. It is um just under 2.5 hours. So it's long. But to be honest, I did not really notice the time. Right? I wasn't thinking, oh, I want to leave. I need to, I was just like, this is a great story. It's so out there and so funny too. Oh my God. Laughed so much, right? So much, man. It was great, and the whole screen was laughing. Whole screen was laughing, and at different bits as well, which is always good and interesting. So it's just definitely a film that you need to bring into your life, people. Definitely, because it's just so good. It's so freaking good, you know? It is showing, right? If you missed today's outing at the Royal Festival Hall, it will be there again tomorrow because, yeah, it's the penultimate day, right? Tomorrow is it, Sunday the 15th. So they've put in 3 screenings, right? You can see it at the Royal Festival Hall, which would be a great setting for this. So it's playing there at 10:30 a.m. Now, if that's a little early for you, there's another screening at the BFI South Bank well, actually, both screenings at the South Bank are at 7:30 p.m. One is in NFT1, so a very big screen. The other is in NFT3, which is a smaller screen, a little more intimate, which wouldn't be a bad setting for this, to tell you the truth. So those are your festival opportunities to watch this just extremely wonderful film. Um, Now, it is a Searchlight picture, and it is scheduled to drop in the States on the 8th of December. Okay. It's dropping in the UK on the 12th of January 2024. So, yes, if you cannot see it tomorrow, right? Because I think it might be sold out, but again, tickets get returned. So it's always worth just checking, right? So if you can't see it tomorrow, Sunday the 15th, right? The 8th of December in the States and the 12th of January 2024 in the UK. And I imagine the rest of the world. So yeah, Poor Things. Poor Things is magnificent. We just tremendous performances all round, right? Everyone just kills it. Mark Ruffalo is just, I mean, if Mark Ruffalo was worried of being, typecast as the Hulk, it's performances like this that remind everyone Ruffalo can act his fucking ass off. Emma Stone is incredible. She really put herself out there, just visually and artistically, and it's so good. William Dafoe shows he might be an old motherfucker, but he's still got those chops, and Rami Youssef was fantastic as Max. I mean, and that's just them. Everyone was incredible. The costumes. Whew, the costumes are great, right? The sound, like the music and everything like that. It's just perfect. It perfectly all comes together to create this wonderful film. So, man, Yorgos Lanthimos has done it again, right? I love The Favorite, and this, I think I love this even more, right? So, Poor Things, definitely worth checking. And the title makes you think, right? You're gonna feel bad for someone. No, 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 no. Because Bella, you know, takes back the power, right? And just flips the script on everything. So mark it down. Sunday the 15th, or USA, the 8th of December, UK, and the rest of the world, 12th of January. Because you need to get this in your life, baby. Check out Poor Things.